Alright, so welcome to the fourth video. So I'm moving along quite quickly here, which is good. I just want to show you the example, the answer to the example that we gave in the first video, sorry, not the first video, the previous video. So this is our answer that we have here, and this is the answer that you'll sort of see if you're at university or something like that. This is sort of what they'll expect you to do when you're doing your entity relationship diagrams. So I expect you to have the particular attributes here, and then the types for each. So for example, we're saying that this is an integer, a varchar, and we've got some other things here. We're denoting our foreign keys as well, which is good. We've got our foreign key over here. So this is just a more put together example, but as you can see, even just using this, we still got something that is extremely usable. Okay, so now we're going to go through some more examples, and if I just want to say one thing that I'm using here, if you want to know what software this is Enki. So it's a study software that allows you to put in particular questions, and then you can put in your answers and test yourself, which is great. It's something that I encourage a lot of people to download and use. It's free, and there's no sponsorship here, so yeah, go ahead and download it. It's mad if you're studying or doing anything like that. All right, so we'll go through another example, and I'll get rid of this, and what I'd like you to do is just pause the video now, try and have a go at this of just drawing the entities. Don't worry about the connectivity too much, and then what we'll do is we'll go through it together. So just remember what I've gone ahead and done here is I've just circled, sorry, I haven't done this. This is just from previous study that I've done, just an example that they've used. So here, as you can see, they've got the thing circled. So they've got the particular entities in blue, and then they've got the verbs in red, which is the relationships. So for now, just go through, and sort of already been done for you, but just have a read of this and try and make sense of it, draw up the entities, and think about how you would connect these particular entities together just by drawing lines, and then I'll go through connectivity and participation. All right, so let's go through it. So we'll draw up our entities. So I'm just going to fix this up a little bit better. All right, so we've got our department. So normally what I do is when I'm reading these, I just go through quickly and look at the entities straight away and put them in before I worry about any sort of connections or anything like that. So I go straight away, let's have a look at the department. So sweet, we have a department called, it's the entity called department. All right, that's perfect. So we've got our department table, we have our employees, and we also have our division, and then we have our project. So we'll drag our department over here. We'll have our employees. Oh, I don't know what I've done here. Maybe I can send it to back. Perfect. And we've got our division, so I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Apologize, I'll try and speed this up. Division. And our projects. Send forwards. Perfect. So now we've got the department employs many employees. So we've got that connection there without worrying about any sort of connectivity. Let's just draw a line. But each employee is employed by only one department. Not to worry about that right now. Some employees known as rovers are not assigned to any department. Some employees known as rovers are not assigned to any department. So is rovers, as it's saying down here, what about rovers? Do they form an entity? And the answer is no, because rovers are still employees. All this is saying the type of connection that it has, which I'll describe at the end. All right, so it says a division operates many departments. The division and departments has that relationship there. And then so it says, but each department is operated by only one division. That's fine. An employee may be assigned to only one project. So an employee may be assigned to only one project. And a project may have many employees assigned to it. So that's talking about the connectivity there. A project must have at least one employee assigned to it. That's all right. One of the employees manages each department. One of the employees manages each department, and each department is managed by only one employee. One of the employees runs each division. So this is going to be a connection there. So one of the employees runs each division, and each division is run by one employee. So let's just put the connection there. So this is sort of what it'll look like, okay? Let's go through the connectivity now. So it says the department employs many employees, so we can go straight away many. But each employee is employed by one department. So each employee is employed by one department. So all we know now is that the department employs many, and the employee is only employed by one department. So some employees known as rovers are not assigned to any department. So that means that some employees are not assigned, which means there's a zero relationship with the department. So as you can see here, the participation is 0 for some of the employees. That's what it says there with the rovers. So that rovers is not necessarily an entity. All it is it's just a descriptive word that's describing that the employees don't actually have to belong to a department. So there's some employees that may not belong to a department, but each employee that does belong to a department, they only belong to one. So now it's saying a division operates many departments. So division operates, so I should be typing this in here too, operates, employees, so where was I? Division operates many departments. So we know that the many is that. But each department is operated by only one division. By only one. So one and only one. Okay, so that's the participation that has to be operated by one and only one division. Okay. An employee may be assigned to only one project, and a project may have many employees. So an employee may be assigned to only one project, and as it says may, meaning that there's a possibility that they could not be assigned, we say that the participation there is optional, okay, which is 0, means that there's some employees that might not be assigned to any particular project. And they're assigned to only one, and a project may have many. So it's saying may have many employees once again, which means there's a possibility that a project has no employees. So a project must have at least one employee assigned to it. So even though it said may up here, now it's saying that a project must have at least one employee assigned to it, meaning that this particular participation changes. So these are the things that you got to look out, and this is why I go through it in this way. I do the connectivity first, and then I read the business rules from the top down. So one of the employees manages each department. So one of the employees manages each department. So that's another relationship that exists there. Manages each department. And each department is managed by only one employee. So that's another relationship that can exist there. Okay, but for now we'll leave that. One of the employees runs each division. and each division is run by only one employee. So runs, so only one employee, but not all employees, because remember there's some employees that won't run a division, so that's optional there, can run a division. But the division must be run by only one only employee. So that means, like, for example, Division 1 is run by Bob, but it can't also be run by John. It can only be run by Bob. That's why we have this. But there is also an instance where John is not going to run a division because John's just a regular employee. So that's sort of why it's like that. Okay. Now, where was I? So we've got that the one of the employees manages each department. So that's another relationship that we can do there. So we can say managers. So one of the employees manages each department. So that's saying that they have to pretty much to manage it. And each department is managed by only one employee. Okay, so one and one only. But what I must say here is that this side here, I've made a mistake. This side's optional because there are employees who will not be managing any department at all. Okay. So now this is very complex and, a little bit messy, but we've gone through these business rules and we've made these links. Okay. There's attributes in here that we can add later on, like department IDs and things like that. But this is just a general outline, and this is sort of what I would do on paper before I transfer it to a version like this. Okay. So as you can see here, that we're answering the question, and I've just sort of mixed things up in a different way. So I've got the division up here, the department down here. So as you can see here, the department is employees, many employees. So I've made the assumption that the department can only have has to have one or many employees. Also here with division, a division might have to have a particular department assigned to it. That's an assumption. It's not really specified in there. It says a division operates many departments, but each department is operated by one division. There you go. But each department is operated by one division, so one and one only division. It says operates many, so we're assuming here, based on an assumption, that this particular relationship here is mandatory. So just remember that if you leave some of these things out, that's perfectly fine. Normally what would happen in real life is when it's not specified in here correctly in the business rules, you would go to the particular company or organization and specify that with them. Is every single department, does every single department have a division related to it? And if they say no, then this becomes optional. If they say yes, then this becomes mandatory. So assumptions are fine to make while you're practicing this. So just remember, sometimes your assumption might be different to mine. So these particular participations here might be different if the information is not specifically specified in here or is not completely transparent. Okay, so as you can see here, we've pretty much got the same layout. So I've got a division is run by one and one only employee. And we're saying that the employee is a part of or is managing one division, but it's optional, meaning that not all employees over here are managing a division. It's only, every now and then one employee will be picked to go and manage the division because they're, a project manager or something like that. Okay, now we're saying that division, we have the relationship here that we just described. We go to the department, and now what we can see is that the department employs one to many employees, and the employees that are rovers are not a part of the department, but the employees that aren't rovers, they're only belonging to one department. And like I said before, the department employees is managed by one and one only employee, so each department has one manager, and the employees aren't all managers, only maybe, the particular employees that have the job description manager will be managing these particular departments. So this is sort of a high level ERD, including attributes now. So now I just want to go through the foreign keys that are specified here so we can make some understanding. So what we have here is we have foreign keys that I've said before. Now remember, we go from the one, so when we're looking at the relationship, we go from the one side and add the primary key here, which is the division number, to the department side. Down here is a foreign key. And then we look for these ones here. We've got a one to many on this side. So grab the department number and chuck it over here as a foreign key in the employees. And then we see this relationship here where there's 1 and 1, but the participation here is optional. Okay, so normally what will happen here is on the optional side is where we will add the particular foreign key. So we'll grab the employee ID and chuck it over here. And like I said before, just remember everything's logical. So when you're looking up the employee, you want to know which department they are employed at. So you put the department ID over here as a foreign key. Now, when you look up a department, you want to know who the manager is. So you put the employee number over here as a foreign key when we're mentioning this particular type of relationship. Okay, so now here what we have is we have the project and the employees. So now we know that this is one to many. So what we do is we take the project number and put that down here as a foreign key so it has that link. Okay. So perfect. So this is pretty much the ERD that we've generated from here. This is a bit of a confusing and can be quite sort of complex to understand. And I apologize if I've confused any of you while going through this. But like I said, read this, try and understand it, and go through as many of these examples as you can. Okay. Cool. So now we've got an easy one. We're going to go through a transport company who wants to computerize their ticket system. So the business rules are as follows. So each passenger is defined by passenger ID, a passenger name, contact. And the passenger can purchase one or many tickets. Okay. Each ticket can only be purchased by one passenger. Each ticket has a ticket number and expiry date on it. The tickets are generated before customers purchase them. So let's go through the answer here. So as we see, we've got the passenger and the ticket as the entity. Now we've got the attributes here, which are all correct. So now it's saying that the passenger can purchase one or many tickets. One or many. And each ticket can only be purchased by one passenger. Can. So the keyword there is can. Okay? Which means that a ticket might not be purchased by a passenger yet. So when it says can, this is where the relationship becomes optional. That's why I was saying in the previous example that there's obviously an assumption there made that if a customer is to exist, they must be making a purchase. However, the word can normally denotes an optional participation. And now it says each ticket has a ticket number and expiry date on it, which is perfect, and tickets are generated before the customer purchases them. Sweet. All right, so I hope that these examples haven't confused you. I hope that you have a better understanding now of the entity relationships and the business rules and how they link in. All I can say is just keep working on them as much as you possibly can. I'm going to put up way more examples and I'm going to have the answers underneath. Try and answer them on your own, okay? And go through them. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section of the video and I'd be more than happy to go through more things, like if you struggle with the participation or trying to figure out the connectivity. Those are the things that I normally struggled with, was trying to figure out the participation and the wording, especially when they use words like can or maybe. So what I'll do is I will, on my website, I'll actually write particular words that mean particular different types of participation. For example, may normally means optional, or can means that it's optional too. So those are the words that you want to look out for when you're looking at the types of participation. Okay, thank you for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoy the content. If you have any questions or you want me to explain something, or maybe I'm talking too much, just please let me know in the comment section below and I'll correct the videos accordingly. Thank you. Bye-bye.